Okay, let's talk about something so many of us go through, but are almost never taught to actually value crying easily. For way too long, it's been painted as this big weakness. But today, we're going to flip that script and look at the real, resilient strength behind it. I mean, come on, I bet a lot of you are nodding along right now. Maybe it was a parent, a friend, or even just that little voice inside your own head, the one that calls you too sensitive or way too emotional. It's such a common label, and man, does it carry a lot of weight. So let's just get this out on the table right from the get-go. The absolute core idea of this whole explainer is a simple but really powerful truth. Those tears that come easily, they are not and they have never ever been a sign of weakness. All right, so to really get to the truth, we first have to totally take apart the myth. Let's dive into where this whole wrong idea even comes from and why it's just so everywhere. This is the story we've all been sold, right? We see it in movies, we hear it in just regular conversations. The person who cries is the one who's seen as fragile or unstable or totally out of control. It's this judgment that makes so many of us feel like we have to bottle up a completely natural and actually really healthy human response. And here it is. This is the question that changes absolutely everything. What if the whole way we've been taught to judge our own emotions is just fundamentally broken? What if that very thing we've been told to hide is actually one of our greatest sources of power? And that right there brings us to the heart of this whole thing. Let's totally reframe this conversation. It's time to start looking at tears through a brand new lens, as a really profound sign of strength. This visual just lays it out so perfectly. Over on the left, you've got that old story we've all been fed our whole lives. But on the right, that's the new truth, and it's backed by a much deeper understanding of how we work. Crying isn't weakness, it's actually a sign of resilience. So here's the crucial shift in thinking. This isn't about being fragile or easily broken. Not at all. It's about being responsive. It means you have a nervous system that's alive and actually paying attention to the world around you, processing things fully instead of just shutting down. So, okay, let's dig into what I call the resilient advantage. Because being responsive like this is not just some neutral thing. It comes with some seriously incredible benefits. First things first, let's just make sure we're on the same page. When we talk about resilience, this is what we mean. It's the ability to bounce back, to recover when things get tough. It's not about never feeling pain, it's about being able to move through it. In its truest sense, it is toughness. And here's the million-dollar question, right? How does something that feels so vulnerable connect to this idea of being tough? I get it, the link might not seem obvious at first, but it's actually incredibly direct. So here's how it all connects. First off, tearing up easily, that often just means you have a highly responsive nervous system. You're not fragile, you're just more tuned in, picking up on things others might miss. Then there's this. It can mean your brain is wired to process empathy on a much deeper level, which is a superpower for creating real connections. And physically, this part is so cool. Crying is one of the body's best ways to literally get rid of stress. Emotional tears actually contain stress hormones. So when you cry, you are physically flushing them out of your system. It's not losing control. It's your body's built-in, super efficient way to hit the reset button. Now, knowing all this stuff is one thing, but actually living it, that's something else entirely. So for this last part, let's talk about how we can actually put this new understanding into practice and truly start to embrace our tears. Here are 3 really practical shifts in perspective you can try. First, next time you feel that lump in your throat, reframe it. It is not a failure. It is a physical release of pent-up tension. Second, start seeing your sensitivity not as some flaw you need to fix, but as a heightened form of awareness. And finally, treat your emotions like valuable information. They're data telling you what matters to you, what you need, and what might need to change. If you walk away with just one single thought today, please let it be this one. In the operating system of being a human, your emotional responsiveness isn't some glitch in the code. It is a core feature, and it's designed for connection, for release, and for resilience. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What could change in your life, in your relationships, in your work, in how you see yourself? What could you accomplish if you stopped fighting this part of who you are and started seeing it for what it truly is, one of your greatest strengths?